Conference Committee report on House File number 4. This is the David's motion. The Conference Committee report on House File number 4, an act relating to the financing and operation of state and local government. The report is addressed to the Honorable Kurt L. Doudt, Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Michelle L. Fischbach, President of the Senate. We, the undersigned conferees for House File number 4, report that we have agreed upon the items in dispute and recommend as follows. And then the Conference Committee report is signed by 4 of the members on behalf of the House and 4 of the conferees on behalf of the Senate. David's moved that the report of the Conference Committee on House File number 4 be adopted and that the bill be repassed as amended by the Conference Committee.
I recognize the author from Fillmore, Representative Davids, who will explain the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. This is House File 4, the Omnibus Tax Bill. I would like to go through the changes from when it last left this floor. There were several Senate provisions that were adopted. We accepted the Section 179 expensing conformity in full. We have local government aid, $6 million, CPA $6 million, school debt equity aid for 2 years. We have the ag containment compromise that we accepted. We scaled back provisions a bit on Social Security, student loans, and we have 2 years of Angel credits at $10 million a year. From the bill, what was removed was reducing the renter's credit, the Taxpayer Empowerment Act, most of that, and the one-time increase to the property tax refund. Those items were removed. So that's, rather than go through the whole bill, I have just gone through the changes from conference. I'd like to thank the conferees, Chair Drazkowski, Representative Hertaus, Representative McDonald, and I really appreciate the efforts of Representative Marquardt, and again to thank our entire staff, House Research, partisan and nonpartisan, and I would appreciate member support on passing and adopting the report of the Conference Committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members.
Discussion to the report. Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. No. The motion prevails. The clerk will give the bill its third reading as amended by conference.
Third reading, House File 4, as amended by the Conference Committee.
Third reading as amended by conference. Any further discussion? Discussion to the bill. Member from Hennepin, Representative Loeffler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. This bill, more than any other that we've considered, really shows the majority party's priorities. What isn't in this mega-sized billion-dollar tax bill is so disappointing. There's no increase in the working family tax credit, direct property tax relief for taxpayers, or adequate funding of the local government aid or county program aid programs. The working family tax credit rewards work and has been academically shown repeatedly through research that it lifts families out of poverty and even shows up in the school performance and later life success of the children of families that receive this. When you're living financially on the edge, this $700 to $800 can make the difference in managing an unexpected medical bill, a major car repair, or other normal minor catastrophes that happen normally in life that send too many people spiraling into unmanageable debt and even into eviction and homelessness. When there's 345,000 households in Minnesota that get this every year. They're in every district. Statewide, it's 12% of all of our households. We've distributed on the floor the information from the Council of Nonprofits budget project that shows you county by county how many of your constituents get this and count on it from year to year. While the average statewide is 12%, in rural counties it's even higher. You'll see numbers of 15, 16, 18, even 20%. In some counties, 1 out of 5 households counts on this. While the working, I suspect that the difference, and then you contrast this with the 1,100 people who will benefit by expanding the tax-free amount of an estate. It only benefits the 1,100 richest persons who die in Minnesota each year. They have to have estates worth over $2 to $7 million because the amount below that is already tax-free. And the difference in those thresholds is that there are special provisions for business owners and farmers already in law. I suspect many of us have no one that rich in our district that will be able to take advantage of that estate tax break. But all of us have people who earn the working family tax credit. Many of you who have wealthy constituents probably know that they have already taken advantage of trusts, asset transfers, and other ways to avoid this tax, but there's always some who don't, and that's their prerogative. But this provides $161 million and growing, ongoing, to the heirs of these wealthiest people in Minnesota. These heirs may not even live in Minnesota. Much of this inherited wealth has never had taxes paid on it. It's based on investments that transfer from one rich generation to the next. So there are no capital gains realized and recognized and had capital gains taxes paid on it. While businesses throughout the state get their statewide property tax levy reduced and frozen, including the foreign-owned companies that own many of the skyscrapers, because we know there's a lot of foreign investment in our community. They like our economy. There's no property tax relief in this for homeowners or renters. Nothing in this billion-dollar tax bill for the majority of our constituents. There's no increase in the homestead credit, the renter's credit, even after property taxes went up over $700 million in the last 2 years. I predict that property taxes will continue to go up. There's no partnership in this bill with our local governments that we've seen in the past. Cities get a tiny $6 million increase in local government aid for the entire state of Minnesota. Our counties are under dramatic budget pressure due to the mandated HHS and public safety obligations that we put on them. They too only get a one-time bonus of $6 million. The result will be property tax increases with no help for the taxpayers subject to them. We can and should do better. This bill doesn't step up for the ordinary worker and their family, and we should reject it.
Member from Dakota, Representative Halverson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. There are really good reasons to debate tax policy in Minnesota, and there's really good policy that we can make through our tax system. And one thing that is in this bill that really shouldn't be, and a reason why we should send it back, is tax breaks for big tobacco in Minnesota. There should be distributed an article from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune that was issued on May 3rd of this year that indicates that the tobacco companies from outside of Minnesota have spent almost $500 million trying to influence legislation here in the state. Excuse me, $500,000. $500,000 influencing legislation here in the state of Minnesota last year and this year. That includes donations to campaigns. It includes donations to third parties who support candidates. Big money is big business with big tobacco. Why are they so invested in Minnesota's tax bill and Minnesota's tax policy? One reason: new customers. The new customers for the tobacco companies are our kids. And we know that because the state of Minnesota sued the tobacco companies several years ago, and they had to open up their playbook. And we found out just how serious they were about targeting the children of the state of Minnesota. And the state of Minnesota responded by using proven policies that work to reduce tobacco use among young people. I want you guys to think about your families. Think about people in your life who you have lost to tobacco. Those losses are far too close in my life, and I know they are in yours as well. Tobacco costs lives of Minnesotans. Tobacco use increases the health care costs that we spend in Minnesota. And here we are in our tax bill in 2017, after our state and our country have been victimized year after year after year by tobacco companies, and we're giving them a tax break. This isn't a tax break for the people of Minnesota. This is a tax break to ensure that big tobacco companies can continue to come into our state and hook our kids on their products, and they can continue to reap billions of dollars in profits off the suffering of people in our state. Think about your families. Look at the face of your children and grandchildren. Think about if you want them to start smoking. Think about if you want them to try cigars, flavored cigars. Think about if you want them picking up a can of Copenhagen. The answer is going to be no, because we know the harms that tobacco costs to our state. And this tobacco tax decrease does nothing but help big tobacco hook our kids on cigarettes and hook our kids on addictive tobacco products. Minnesota stood up to the tobacco companies and we said no more. And I'm here to tell you, it's time to let their influence fade away in Minnesota. We don't need their big money in our campaigns. We don't need their big money in third-party independent expenditures in our campaigns, because we know what they do with that big money. They do everything they can to make sure that they're hooking our kids on their products. Say no to tax cuts to big tobacco. Say no to sending millions outside the state of Minnesota at the expense of our kids. Send this bill back.
Member from Hennepin, Representative Freiberg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative Halverson is a tough act to follow, particularly on the topic like tobacco marketing to youth, but I will try my best to do so. And I just want to highlight one aspect of this bill that I think is really a problem here, and that's the provision related to premium cigars. So this bill would eliminate the requirement that a premium cigar be hand-rolled, so any machine-made cigar that's mass-produced now qualifies for this tobacco tax break. It reduces the maximum tax on a premium cigar from $3.50 to 50 cents, a seven-fold decrease in the price of tobacco products. Now, our youth, our young people in Minnesota are the most price-sensitive people that are out there. So the effect of this tax cut is to make these products more appealing to young people and more accessible to young people. As if that's not bad enough, cigars are frequently sold in candy flavors, in fruit flavors, in alcohol flavors. They don't have the same restrictions on flavorings that conventional cigarettes do. So these products are still out there. They're cheaper, they're in flavors that are attractive to kids, and kids will buy them if this passes. This is a real problem, and as Representative Halverson knows, the tobacco industry knows this, and that's why they're so involved in legislative campaigns in Minnesota. That's why they fight these tobacco tax increases and why they raise red herring arguments like a black market being created. That doesn't happen. These products are then sold to kids, are then purchased to kids. So this bill should be rejected for many reasons, and the cigar tax break, the tax break for big tobacco, is one of them. Vote no.
Discussion to the bill. Member from Clay, Representative Marquardt.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and members. And colleagues from this side of the aisle have already talked about some of the specifics in the bill and reasons why we should not vote for this today. But I want to talk about the budget, because this bill really impacts what we've been talking about yesterday and we'll talk about in the next few days. But when you set your budget, you are setting your values and priorities. That is what you do. You say, this is your vision of the state, this is what you think you're going to see the big improvements to keep this the great state that it is. But the budget that has been produced by the majority does not represent those values, those priorities, those dreams and hopes of the state of Minnesota. And it really can't, because when you've got tax cuts representing 70% of the budget surplus, you can't do all the other things that this state has been built on. And that's a great education, excellent infrastructure, caring for our most vulnerable, those things that have made us a very high quality state. And when you've got $4 in tax cuts for every $1 of new investment in E through 12 education, those are not the state's priorities. Those are not the right balance. And when you're looking at trying to do those things that make the state great and jobs creation and infrastructure and those, you're not getting there where you need to be. And I've heard in the last couple days, yesterday, when you heard some of the budget bills come forward, that, you're kind of shocked and just, we wish we could do more in this area, or I know this isn't quite enough. But when you put 70% of your budget, of your surplus into tax cuts, the rest of your budget isn't going to be hunky-dory. And it's not like these targets fell from the ceiling here of the House chambers. They didn't just come down and, okay, taxes is going to be this, education is going to be this. It didn't just happen. It was a concerted effort. Everyone decided this was going to be the priorities and goals. And so we have an education bill, because of the massive tax cuts, we have an education bill that in a time of a $1.6 billion surplus doesn't even hit inflation. 1.5%. Like I said, $4 of tax cuts to $1 of education funding. So you're not even hitting inflation. And then you're hearing the decision between voluntary pre-K or targeted pre-K. And I think it was mentioned yesterday that we had to make a choice between targeting pre-K or making it accessible to everyone. That is a false choice. And that doesn't come down to dollars. We know if there's anything we could do this session that would impact the state more than anything else, it would be pre-kindergarten for everyone if we could. And Governor Dayton has been a champion for early childhood education, but it has been a bipartisan effort. Look at the early learning scholarships that Representative Loon has $138 million. That was bipartisan. Back in the 11-12 session, Governor Dayton was a champion for that, and a Republican legislature promoted that. And now it's up to $138 million, which is good. It's a huge, excellent component to our preschool. And in the last session, Governor Dayton championed the voluntary pre-K, which passed also bipartisanly. So, members, if you think you can't afford the voluntary pre-K, if you were to take the $161 million that is going to the wealthiest Minnesotans in the estate tax conformity, $161 million, you could fund 25,000 four-year-olds for pre-K, voluntary pre-K. It's that easy, but that's a choice. So when you say, well, we've got a target rather than this, that is a false choice because it's very easily to do, but you've got to change your priorities. And while I'm on voluntary pre-K, if you're really talking about tax relief, this is excellent for middle-class families, working families. Because, for example, the early learning scholarships go up to 185% of the poverty level. But if you got two parents with two children, you hit that at $45,500. So when you take away voluntary pre-K, you are eliminating options and increasing costs for working parents. That's what you do. And the average working parent with voluntary pre-K would save about $2,500 to $4,000 a year. That is significant for these middle-income families. That's huge. And right now we're funding 74 school districts that applied and got preschool, the voluntary preschool. 269 districts from every single county now have applied for the new funds. And rural members, listen to this, of those 269 school districts, 66% of the students, 66% of the students where school boards have applied for new funding for the voluntary pre-K are from rural Minnesota. 2/3 from rural Minnesota. Why is that? Because there's a lot of shortages for daycare out there. And why are we extending the parent aware 3- and 4-star ratings? Because you don't have that many out in rural Minnesota. They need that. These parents need that. And so I'm talking about that because we seem to make that a choice. But you could very easily have made by just reducing the amount of money going to the estate tax, the wealthiest 1,000 people in this state, we could fund voluntary pre-K. Higher education, because of the massive tax cuts, we're going to see tuition increases around this state and huge cuts to our university. I've talked to 2 presidents of universities and a college back in my area. And one said they're going to have to cut $7.5 million. And so I said to her, I said, well, give me what is that in comparison to your budget? She said that's 10% of her budget at her university. I said, what's that going to mean? She said it's going to mean cuts to staff, which ultimately means cuts to programs, and she specifically mentioned a program like nursing. Things that we need to generate our economy. I talked to a president of a college in my area, and she said it's going to be significant. The current conference report is going to be significant cuts. They have laid off or not filled 64 positions in the last 2 years. And it says it's going to reduce more programs. Your choices have huge implications on what's going to happen here. We've got our personal care attendants, our direct care, home and community-based folks who are not getting the proper increases they need as they care for our most vulnerable people, our senior citizens and our people with disabilities. But that was a choice made, and when you put 70% of the budget surplus into massive tax cuts, it just doesn't work out, and it doesn't meet the needs of Minnesota. I remember back in the late 90s, Governor Ventura was the governor then. We had surpluses, and it was give it all back. If we remember that, give it all back. Well, they gave a lot of it back, and for about the next 12 to 14 years, we had constant deficits, where tuitions went up, classroom sizes got bigger, LGA went down. All of these things had huge impacts. And one of the things Governor Dayton and this legislature has really tried to do in the last 2 and 3 years is create stability in this budget, not only for today, but into the future. And we really need to watch that. So members, we've got a lot of choices here, but when you have a budget with 70% of it into tax cuts, it doesn't leave much more for people, for helping people around this state. So let's vote no on this. Let's get through this step of the process, because we do need strategic, targeted tax cuts for those who need it the most. Our senior citizens, our families, our farmers, our veterans, our small businesses, we need those. And we can do that. But we can do that with a balanced approach that also invests in those important things that we have always invested in to make this a great state economically and with quality of life, and that's in our education, our infrastructure, and taking care of our most vulnerable people. So let's get the right priorities, the right values, the right balance, and we can still do that. And I do appreciate Chair David's his work on the conference committee and his inclusion of me in the deliberations and so forth. I really appreciate that. But we have more work to do. We have a lot more work to do, and I'm confident in the next 12 days, I think is what we have left, that we're going to get a budget that is balanced and has the right priorities. But I think we start by voting no here today and then moving on and working with Governor Dayton for that right balance.
Member from Hennepin, Representative Hortman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Point of personal privilege.
State your point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I'd like to call your attention to some students in the gallery. They have walked 100 miles. They are Students United for a Good Cause to call attention to the importance of affordable college tuition. And they just finished their 100-mile walk.
And Representative Hartman, I can only assume that Representative Considine also walked that full 100 miles as I see him up there. So, discussion to the bill, members. The member from Wabasha, Representative Drazkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, thank you for the discussion. Chair Davids, thank you for your leadership on this bill. It's been an honor and privilege to serve with you on the committee. Representative Marquardt, it's been really enjoyable to develop a stronger relationship with you this session, and I enjoy our working together on this bill throughout and look forward to us bringing this to success and having the governor's signature on this bill. But I want to talk about some things that have been discussed not only today but also yesterday in the context of this bill. By the way, members, as the folks from upstairs head out after their 100-mile journey, they'll be glad to know there's tax relief in the bill to help you with your higher education costs. Members, you know, we had discussion yesterday about how, at least it was characterized, that it's never enough money. It's never enough money for education. It's never enough money for health and human services. It's never enough money for our higher education. And members, those three areas together, as we all know, comprise about 85% of our state general operating budget. Now, if you look at the actual numbers, we were only talking, or at least those talking yesterday, about the two major bills, the education bill and the HHS bill. We're only talking about the increases over the base, and they made it sound like those numbers were small, and I beckoned back to, as I listened to some of the Democrats talk yesterday about they wanted more and more and more and more money, I beckoned back to a couple of years ago when I heard one member say, just a few $100 million more, that's all we want. And I heard that again yesterday. Just give us a few $100 million more. And members, we have to remember where that money comes from. It comes from the hard-working taxpayers of Minnesota, and it's taken from them against their will in order to fund the pieces of government that we fund here every year. And so we have to be very careful and do a good job with their money and practice the fiduciary responsibility we're sent here to exercise. But you look at the actual numbers, members, the education spending increase is a $1.1 billion increase over the last biennium. The HHS increase, I don't have this number nailed down, it's somewhere, I talked to the chair, somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.6 or $1.8 billion increase in spending over the last biennium. And the folks yesterday talking said, well, we want more. We want even more than that. Well, the frustrations, members, that working Minnesotans have had is they've seen this behavior long happen here. And we saw it the last biennium. We had a $1.9 billion surplus. A $1.9 billion overcollection of the people's money was scheduled through the biennium that we're about to end. And what did we provide for tax relief for them? Zero. No, I take that back. We had $50 million or so tax cut for our military veterans from their pension benefits and the income tax on those benefits. That's the one piece, $50 million in the last biennium. The rest, we spent half of the projected surplus in the neighborhood of $1 billion in increasing the size of government in each of the areas that we included our spending decisions in. So members, this bill actually begins, it's a first step to giving back some of the over-projected collection, the over-collection of the people's money to the hardworking Minnesotans who are out there trying to feed their families, to put gas in their car, to pay for their college education for their kids, to pay the mortgage on their house, to pay for their health insurance, of which many of them can't afford. And this is our opportunity to do that. It's a $1.1 billion tax cut, and as I mentioned, out of the 85% or so of the budget decisions that we're looking at right now a $3.5 billion increase in spending for those three major areas: education, HHS, and higher ed. $3.5 billion increased spending between last year and this year. And we would like to give back to the hardworking Minnesotans who toil in their labor every year to try to get ahead in the face of a headwind of inflation that is eating them up. But in the face of government, inflation's been what? 1.7%? But our increase in spending, members, has been about 30% increase in the last 6 years in spending in the state budget. It just keeps going and going and going again. So we have good tax relief in here for those hardworking Minnesotans. We have tax relief in here for senior citizens who are having income tax money taken out of their Social Security benefits, those benefits that they are depending on. We decrease the tax on our seniors and give them some breathing room as they try to move forward and make decisions in the future of their lives. Minnesota farmers have a great opportunity here to put them onto pace or begin that first step that Representative Marquardt and I are working on with the ag construction levy taxes. And the first step in putting that first step of a two-step process in putting them on pace on an equal level with the people who happen to live in town. Our veterans are also covered in here. We provide some property tax exemptions for veterans as they move forward. And our small businesses all across the state benefit by, and I heard someone, I think Representative Loeffler was talking about, you know, this is all about skyscrapers and rich people. Members, it is not. What our state general levy provision in the bill does is it freezes the autopilot increase that is added on top of that extra property tax that every single business, including the smallest businesses in every corner of Minnesota, are forced to pay on top of what they pay for their county property taxes, their school property taxes, and their city or township property taxes. They're forced to pay yet another state property tax on top of that. And not only are they forced to pay it, but it's on an automatic increase over time. So we stop the increase and keep it frozen, and then we simply repeal that extra tax for the first $150,000 of property value, benefiting the most every one of those small businesses in every corner of every jurisdiction of our great state. So this helps Minnesota farmers, it helps Minnesota seniors, it helps Minnesota veterans and Minnesota small business owners so that they can begin to get ahead as we have been spending and spending and spending their money here in St. Paul. It's time for the people who are paying the bill to finally get some relief. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The author of the bill from Fillmore, Representative Davids.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I'd appreciate your support on the conference report for House File 4. There's been many false narratives I've heard speaking to what this bill is about, but I'd like to let the members of this body know what this bill is really about. Members, this bill is about senior citizens that are getting kicked out of their homes because they have to pay taxes on their Social Security. Why are we charging senior citizens taxes on their Social Security? We put many, many thousands of seniors will not have that burden any longer if you vote for this bill. Subtraction for 529 plans, subtractions and credits. First in the nation, student, are they still up there? Oh, they're not up, oh shoot. First in the nation, student loan tax credits. First in the nation. That's what those students walked 100 miles for. Credit for equity, let's see, then we have the school bond ed credit, Chair Drazkowski hit that. First-time home buyer savings account subtraction. Beginning farmer credits. Representative Pearson did a lot of work on that. It's in the bill. Increasing child and dependent care credits. We kind of forget to mention that. It's in the bill for working families, for people that are struggling to make ends meet. Exempting the first $150,000 on the property taxes for your smallest businesses. Go to your small towns. Look at the Main Street. They will have a 30% decrease in their property taxes. Many of them will. That's in the bill. Federal conformity. This is about seniors, farmers, veterans, provisions for veterans in the bill. Students, families saving for college, daycare costs, school, debt service, debt equalization, local government aid and CPA, $39 million. 6 in LGA, 6 in CPA, 27 in a provision that was brought to us, I think Representative Swedzinski, to eliminate the sales tax on construction material purchases for cities and counties. That's a decrease in costs, $39 million to our cities and our counties. So members, I'm just going to go through a brief list here. If you represent any of these communities, you might want to think about voting for the bill. Newport, Duluth Seaway Port Authority, St. Paul, Rochester, Richfield, Workforce Housing TIF, Burnsville, Anoka, St. Louis Park, Edina, Maple Grove, and because of the great representation in Richfield, another Richfield provision in the bill. Cottage Grove, Wayzata, Coon Rapids, workforce housing in the bill. Then let's just keep going here. East Grand Forks, Mankato and North Mankato, Fairmont, Duluth, Moose Lake, Clay County, Sleepy Eye, Windham, New Ulm, Fergus Falls, Spicer, New London, Garrison, West Mille Lacs Lakes, Albert Lee, Walker, Proctor, two of my favorite, Proctor and Hermantown, right up there with Richfield, as far as I'm concerned. Windham, Clay County again, Worthington. This bill helps all of those communities, members. So even if you don't want to vote for the bill, you should. And like I said before, I said, you know, members, I put my pants on every morning, one leg at a time, just like you do, and then I go out and write great tax bills. This is a great tax bill. Please vote yes.
Seeing no further discussion, the clerk will take the roll on the bill. Members, please vote. Members, please vote. The clerk will close the roll. There being 76 ayes and 57 nays, the bill is repassed as amended by conference and its title agreed to.